Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Voices for Change 2.0, the only podcast that focuses on mental health while mixing in movies, music, books, sports, and pop culture. Here are your hosts, Rebecca and Joe Lombardo.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at Voices for Change 2.0.
Yeah. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. It's officially summer. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in close to Detroit, Michigan. We're not actually in Detroit, but we're at a suburb outskirts, sort of.
It's a stone's throw, if you will.
Yeah.
It's yesterday was officially summer, so we are in the throes of summer, and that means that every day going forward is going to get shorter and shorter until finally it's my favorite season of fall.
I don't want to hear about fall.
It's already felt like fall around here. I don't know what's going on with the rest of you guys, but it's been nothing but rain and cloudiness, and I'm telling you what, I told Beck the other day, when did we move to Seattle?
Yeah, really.
You know, it's been that rainy around here. So, I was going to say something really cool, and I can't remember what it was now. Oh, I remember now. So it's funny. I wake up really, really early every day for work, right? Like, I have to be at work around 6 a.m. So I treasure getting to sleep in on Saturday and Sunday. And it's funny because, we'll wake up and get ready to do the show, and, I'll be groggy and Beck will be groggy. And the second I hear that entrance theme for our show, I just, boom, I'm up. And I'm with it. And it's funny because it's I kind of liken it to wrestling entrance music. You hear wrestlers.
No, it's not that good.
No, but I mean, no, it's not. But it's the same kind of feeling where wrestlers have said, they'll hear their music and they'll get all pumped up and they're ready to go out and kick someone's ass and all that stuff.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if we were talking to 20,000 people?
It's gonna happen. Slow your roll there.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, I'm pumped up for the show because we get to talk to you guys, number one, and number two, we get to talk to our guest today, and he's from the UK, which always pumps me up because we love the UK, and
he's in Birmingham,
and he's not far from Birmingham, which is the birthplace of Black Sabbath and Judas Priest.
And like I said before, some members of Duran Duran.
Yes, there's some members of Duran Duran.
No, I love listening to people from the UK say the names of the cities that they're from and the way that, because there's a Birmingham here in Michigan, but we call it Birmingham.
Yeah.
And
because there's an H in it.
Yeah. But we watched a movie called Fighting with My Family last weekend, which is it's based on a wrestler by the name of Paige, and The Rock is in it, and they say Norwich, and when it's getting pronounced here in the U.S., it's Norwich.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all yelling, "No, Norwich," which is funny to me because it never occurred to me that there would be people correcting the way that we're saying things when they're watching wrestling or whatever TV show that they're watching. But it's funny the subtle differences make that big of a difference.
Yeah. Well, it's been said that Americans and British speak the same language, and it's a completely different language.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very true.
Yeah, Eddie Izzard said something along those lines.
He did. He's another fave.
He's my hero.
Yes. All right. So that said, let's get to the show. Let's get to the goods.
Absolutely.
Let's get to the shindig. The
what we're here for.
Yeah.
Not just blabbing randomly.
Incoherently, and you're stuck listening to it because you chose to.
Yeah, unless they've changed the channel by now. But
yeah. Please don't. We love you. We'll give you a cookie.
All right. Well, today we are talking to a gentleman that I have recently come in contact with. I don't know him as long as some of our other, I knew some of our other guests, but he is a really, really, really great guy. He's got a good presence on Twitter, which, for me is important because I'm on Twitter constantly.
Yes, you are.
And he's both a blogger. He's got a Medium site, and he's also a fellow podcaster. So maybe I'll show up on his show if he lets me.
Is a Medium site different than a large site or a small site?
Yeah. You're confused. Medium.com is a site where you can go and post your articles and poems and things like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm on there also.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a size.
No, honey. Try to keep up.
Okay. so my love, who are we talking to?
We are talking to the wonderful and talented Dan Udale. How are you today, Dan?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I don't know about wonderful and talented, but I'm definitely Dan.
Hey, you forgot lovely.
That's because I'm not you.
He's lovely and talented.
I'm not you. You say that crap.
Yeah, I do. Well, Daniel, I think you're lovely and talented.
Thank you. I think you guys are lovely.
Thanks.
Yeah, we didn't plan out as thoroughly as we usually do what we were going to say today, so that's why we sound kind of scattered. But so forgive us. But
you're getting the real us.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely us.
Yeah, it's definitely us. This is as real as it gets. So
don't worry, it's fine.
How are things in
Birmingham?
Wow, we're recovering from a lot of rain, and the sun is out, and everyone is kind of like crawled out from under their rocks, and they're going outside. There's actually a food festival like just down the road from where I'm at, so a lot of people are going to that today, and yeah, it's just nice to see everyone smiling, and there's good vibes around town. So yeah, it's good.
That's good.
Did I see that you got a haircut?
Yes, yeah, it was about time. It really was. So yeah, on the weekends I tend to I like to take myself out of some of my usual routine, and I try and I don't know, I'll try and do some stuff that will like make me feel better and like put me in a good place, like self-care, I guess. So like I'll get my hair cut, I'll go to cinema, I do stuff like that. So that's what Saturdays are usually about for me.
What's the last movie that you saw?
I saw Toy Story 4 today.
Oh, how
was it? Yeah, it was really good. I kind of like the Pixar films anyway, and it was good. I couldn't quite remember what happened in Toy Story 3, so I was kind of wondering, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
All I remember from Toy Story 3 is crying. I saw it, and towards the end, I'm fighting back tears, and I can't remember what led me to that, but that's all I remember from it. And I'm like, okay, this is horrible. I'm not watching it again because it made me cry. So that's all I remember from it. But yeah, those movies are great. So yeah. I can't get back to sit through Lion King though.
No, I don't watch any. Don't watch any even cartoon films where an animal dies. I'm totally 100% against it.
Oh no! Is it because it's like really, really upsetting, or is it just because like you don't even want to see that?
It's upsetting for me, and it's funny because even before, not even just cartoons, There's a site called Does the Dog Die?
I think it's Does the Dog Die?
DoesTheDogDie.com. And if there's a dog in a movie, you can check that website to make sure the dog lives through it. I know it sounds crazy, but we check it frequently.
Yeah, we do. Say, okay, let's go see that movie. Looks great. Let's go see it. Let's go see John Wick. Oh, the dog dies.
No,
never mind. We're not going to go see John Wick.
No John Wick for me.
Yeah. So, yeah, we weren't able to get on that boat just because of that. So there's that.
Oh no.
But yeah, the last movie that we went and saw was Endgame.
Endgame, yeah.
Avengers. So, in fact, it's supposed to be coming back to the theaters with some extra scenes they were saying earlier this week.
Yeah, I saw something about that. They're trying to tie the record with Avatar.
They're trying to beat Avatar.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that hard.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting close. So, we will be going back to see extra scenes. I don't care what you say.
Yes, dear.
So.
All right, so let's focus on our guest now because that's why he's here.
That's right. That's right.
It's all right.
So, we're going to grill you. Do you have any questions for us?
Oof. Yeah, I've got questions.
You got questions for us?
Yeah, I've got questions. Oh, you're going to ask me questions first.
Yeah, we're going to ask you questions, but we want to see if you had any questions to ask us.
Yeah, first. I do.
You do?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. How did you first meet each other?
Well, way back. Gather around, kids. Gather. There's a story. So way back a long time ago in the 90s, when there was AOL was prevalent on the internet. There's a thing called the internet. We met on AOL.
Wow.
Yeah, we were pen pals on AOL, and had various things in common, like wrestling and certain bands, and because God knows she doesn't like everything I listen to, but yeah, so we were talking and decided to meet, and we met, and at the time I wasn't as mature as I needed to be what she needed me to be, and I stepped away, which I'm embarrassed by now, but couldn't stop thinking about her, and about a year later we reconnected, and
in 3 months we were married.
Yeah.
Aww.
That's the short of it. So yeah, we were talking for a good couple of years before even meeting. So, and yeah, there's something about her that I don't know, and there's still something about her that
you don't know.
I don't know. I adore the hell out of her. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, so that's how we met.
So this August we'll be together 18 years.
We've been married 18 years.
Yes, married 18
We've already
years.
been together. We've already been together 18 years.
Yeah.
May 18th, we were together 18 years.
Yes.
Now remember that.
Not that Joe's counting.
No. No, but you know the joke where most guys can't remember stuff like that. No, I do.
You're not going to be that one guy.
That's right. I'm going to make everybody else look bad. That's my goal. Yeah, I like to say I am an agent of chaos.
Oh my Lord. So any other questions for us?
Sorry. No, I don't actually. Sorry, that's the only one I had.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than what's your favorite color?
Red.
Waiting for that. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to jump in here and start asking you some questions and see how it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, shoot.
The first question that we ask virtually everybody that comes on the show is, where does your mental health journey begin?
Ooh, yeah, good question. Okay. It begins for me really when I was 16 years old. I I thought I was just like kind of a regular kid, really. I was finishing high school, and we've got these exams called GCSEs, and they're like the final exams that you do, and they're the grades that can dictate your career, I guess, whether you want to go to college and that sort of thing. So I'm just about to do those exams, and it was after school. I was walking home, and I was walking with this girl because, you know, I think I wanted to like chat her up and ask her out. And I'm walking with her through this park, and excuse me, there's some guys that are kind of like hurling abuse, like generally our kind of way, but there's this like canal in between us, and I'm not even sure if they're like aiming it at us, so I wasn't really sure what was going on. Anyway, I'm kind of like a bit oblivious to that sort of thing, so I was just kind of walking by, and there's this section of the park where like a river and a canal meet, and there's a bridge, and I met these guys at this bridge, and basically I was assaulted. They just started attacking me, and it was all kind of very fast, really. It's kind of one of those things when the adrenaline kicks in. It's kind of it's one of those surreal moments, and I kind of get up, and like all my clothes like ripped, and I can feel like massive like bruise on my cheek, and I didn't live too far away from the park, so all I did is I kind of just ran. I kept running until I got home. And I can't believe that I actually made it home, so I'm not even that fit. So, like, I don't actually know how I'm that far. But I got in, and I remember feeling like absolutely fine, almost too fine. It was like I was just numb, like emotionally. And it's one of those things where like I was getting my face looked at because like I was punched like really hard in like face. So I was getting it looked at because they were worried that my cheekbone was fractured, but luckily it wasn't. It was just like bruised. And it's one of those kind of surreal things where you're just staring off into the distance, and everything's kind of moving around you, but you're kind of staying still. And that kind of started like what was like the next 6 months in kind of like an emotional limbo. I was just kind of on autopilot. I didn't really want to go outside. Didn't really do anything. I can't really remember a lot of that kind of time really. I guess you'd say I could have disassociated from it, or you know, maybe it was like a coping mechanism. But I just completely went into a shell, and I remember kind of coming out of that shell, you know, going into like college and sixth form. You know, you start off your year all over again, really, in September. And I remember just going back to college and being really frightened about going outside, and I'd always get really anxious kind of towards the end of the day, because you know that's when it happened. It was the end of the school day, so the closer towards that time it got, the more I'd get like, you know, my hands would just be like drenched in sweat. Like I'd have this like it felt like I just had electricity like in the middle of my chest, and it felt like I had magma like running through my veins. It was just like these weird sensations, and I had no idea what was going on. I just thought I was like, you know, broken, and I felt as though I was the problem and everyone else was okay. So I just felt really alone, and like I say, kind of broken really, and it just kept getting worse and worse. That was the problem. It was kind of one of those things where you think, oh, it'll just go away, you know, it'll sort itself out. But as college went on, you know, especially as I got into my second year, it just got really like progressively quite bad. You know, I was like, with college, you get a bit more freedom than with school. You know, I could you can miss lessons if you want to. No one's going to check up on you and that sort of thing. You get a bit more freedom that way. So I found that my attendance was really bad in the afternoons and really good in the mornings. And it just started getting earlier and earlier and earlier until I wasn't really attending college at all. And, you know, I had this really sweet English teacher who was kind of like a mentor to me. And he was like, you know, he said, I just don't know what's going on with you, but like, you're really just like letting yourself down. And, you know, the cycle just kept worsening in that respect. I was also getting myself into quite a lot of debt at that time as well. You know, I'd started getting these kind of payday loans, and you know, because I'd got my first couple of jobs, and my relationship with money and also with food just wasn't really that great, to be honest. So I think to make myself feel better about my kind of emotional state, I just kind of abused those mediums, really. I just took them to their very extremes until the point that I was actually at the end of college and I started an apprenticeship working for a business coach. And I was just in like, you know, I was in like over £5,000 worth of debt. And I was just really struggling with my mental health. You know, it was every day just felt like its own battle, and it was kind of coming to this climax, really. And then it was kind of one weekend. I've got a really close relationship with my dad, and it was kind of this one weekend I was visiting my dad because my mum and my dad have always been separated. So at the weekends I go and see my dad, and we'd had this big kind of family get together, and everyone had kind of left, and my dad came and sat next to me on the sofa, which was like a bit weird because, like, you know, he was literally sat right next to me, and I was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And he was like, "You know, I'm just really worried about you." And I was like, "Why? Like, I'm absolutely fine." And he was like, "Well, you know, I don't think that you're fine, really. You know," he said, I think you know, should go see someone." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He was like, "Well," he said, "you know, he said, this isn't easy, but like, you know, I've been going to therapy myself, like, you know, because of stuff that's happened in his own past." And he's like, "You know, I've struggled with my mental health, and, you know, I'm seeing someone about it, and I think you should see someone too." And I was, at first I was like really offended. I was like, why would you even like say something like that? Because I thought he was kind of saying that I was like messed up or something. And I just, you know, I just kind of buried it, really. You know, that's the way I used to deal with a lot of my problems, was bury them and avoid them. And I just kind of, you know, he gave me this really amazing advice, and I just kind of ditched it, really. So months and months went by, and I finished my apprenticeship, and I moved into a job in IT, working at a big corporation, you know, over 500 employees, and I was working in a support center, you know, where it's like high volumes, you get through a lot of calls each day, and you're fixing people's software issues, basically. And at this point in my life, I've got loads of debt collectors that are calling me, chasing me for money, and somehow they've got hold of my phone number at work, so they're ringing me at work, which is really stressing me out. You know, I've got all these kind of problems with my like anxiety and like depression as well, which are kind of like weighing down on me, and it kind of reaches this climax. And I remember thinking, like, I just want to go home and just end it all. Like, I don't see any way out of this. And yeah, this was kind of like 3 or 4 months after I had that conversation with my dad. And I remember what he said to me, and you know, I Googled like therapists in my area, and I just rang the first one who kind of like had a friendly face, and yeah, that's when I started my journey with therapy, which was 6 years ago.
Wow. Yes. Go ahead, babe.
So are you still in treatment now?
Yeah, I still go now. I've got a really good therapist, and I've got a really great relationship with her. I've made like really good progress, so yeah, I still go. Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Go ahead, baby.
Yeah.
So the first thing is more of a statement than a question. That is, it sounds like you were battling, PTSD from the attack, and just kind of disconnected from the rest of the world, almost like you were observing things happening versus being in the moment on things. Does that sound about accurate?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that because I get that way. Just you kind of I not for the same reasons, but you're kind of seeing what's going on in life, and you're almost like an alien observing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing. The question I have for you though is whatever happened between you and the girl?
Nothing actually, and that's the weird thing. Like, it kind of sounds like the start of this epic love story where I got like the crap kicked out of me, but yeah. I never really spoke to it ever again.
Aw, I'm sorry. I was kind of hoping you at least got a date out of it, But
no, I didn't. Not even a sympathy date.
Oh, that sucks.
That's terrible.
But yeah, I completely feel that. You go through this traumatic thing and you're thinking, all right, well, I'll get over this. It'll be fine. And then as life goes on, we all have that kind of thing where, like you turned to food and you turned to money. And I feel that on a lot of levels, believe you me. So I'm not exactly the best when it comes to money myself, and it's really hard trying to fight, the impulse to buy this or buy that, and just it's hard, because you get that rush of you've bought like a game system, or even just a video game, and you're like, oh, it feels great, and like a half hour later, you're right back to feeling the way you feel,
Yeah.
It's hard. So kudos to you for finally realizing that, hey, you know what, I need to talk to somebody about this. Because it's hard to get to that realization, and good on your dad. Good on your dad for pointing that out to you too. That, hey, I'm worried about you. It sounds like he was. Yeah. Really, really supportive of what you were going through.
Yeah, honestly, he did such a great job. And that's the great thing about my dad. I've actually seen him do it with other people as well, since then. Mm-hmm. And he just he's really not afraid to have that conversation with people. And I said to him recently, I said, it saves lives, conversations like that. So. Just always going to be grateful to him for that. Just right. Really, really great stuff. And like you said, absolutely supportive as well.
And you're absolutely right. It does save lives. It's people underestimate the power of a conversation.
Yeah.
And it really can make a difference in a person's life. I remember reading a story about this kid that was kind of an outcast and was walking home from school, and this other kid was kind of like a popular jock kind of kid. And, the first kid was kind of having some problems with some stuff, and the jock was real friendly to him, walked home with him, helped him carry some of his books because he had all of his books, because he was going home to kill himself. And because this jock had shown him kindness and had been a friend and shown that he cared, this kid didn't act on it, and they became really good friends. And Wow. He ended up telling him years later and stuff. So I mean, you never know what kind of impact you're going to have on a person, just by showing a little bit of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we've got to take our usual break.
Yep.
So we will be back on the other side, and here is Blake MacIver with Start to Believe.
Staring down that long and winding road, I felt like I could never start again. Flipping through the pages of my broken life, just remembering when before I was yours, I just stumbled through my feeble lives, but now you bring me all I could ask for. You give me all that I need, and baby, you've gathered the pieces. Maybe I'll start to believe. Ooh, shana, ooh, shana, ooh, shana, ooh, shana, ooh, shana, ooh, shana, ooh, shana. Looking up that mountain top, I said, how do we begin to climb? Wishing I could speed right through to all the joy, just manipulate time. But now I am yours, so I'll stop wandering through those feeble lies, 'cause now you bring me all I could ask for. You give me all that I need, and baby, you gather the pieces. Maybe I'll start to believe. I guess I'll start to believe. I guess I'll start. I guess I'll start to believe. And though my doubts close in, I know that you'll be there. I won't despair, my dream come true. Who knew? Baby, it's you. And though I falter, I lose control. Your soul pulls me through. Baby, it's you. You know just what to do. You bring me all I could ask for. You give me all that I need. And baby, you gather the pieces. Maybe I'll start to believe. I guess I'll start to believe. I guess I'll start. I guess I'll start. Whoa, yeah. I guess I'll start. I said I guess I'll start. I guess I'll start to believe. I guess I'll start. I guess I'll start. I guess I'll start. I guess I'll start to believe. I guess I'll start to believe.
Hey, welcome back to Voices for Change 2.0. I'm Joe. She's Rebecca. And on the line, we have the lovely and talented, because I know you love it when I say that, babe, the lovely and talented Daniel Udale.
I have no
I love
idea.
that.
So, have you seen a picture of the guy?
I'm looking at a picture of the guy.
He's a beautiful man. I can confidently say that and objectively say he is a beautiful man.
Yes, he's very, very handsome.
He's very handsome.
But we don't have to call him lovely and talented.
Sure we do. I'm being cooked in the back by my cat. So yeah, so we're happy to have him on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
And so how has your mental illness changed your life, Dan?
Wow. At first, it kind of held me back, and that was for, I'm trying to think how long that was. It was for about 4 years. It really had a significant impact on my life. You know, I didn't drive at the time, so I was having to get public transport. And, you know, when you're suffering with PTSD, that can be really difficult. For me, it was the constant feeling that someone was out to get me, or, you know, if I didn't like the look of someone, I'd just kind of freak out, really. So it was quite difficult. It had an impact on my social life because, you know, if I went to a party or something, you know, my mood could just change in an instant, really. And sometimes I'd be out with friends and I'd just leave because I just couldn't. I felt like I couldn't cope with the situation. So it made things really difficult, and it was hard to explain to people as well. So, you know, I felt extremely guilty. You know, I felt like I was hiding something. So it had quite an impact in a way, and that was just kind of like on the outside. On the inside, you know, it was just my relationship with myself had deteriorated so much as a result. You know, I'd gone from, you know, being okay with myself. I don't think I'd been aware of my relationship with myself until afterwards. But, you know, I was like my own worst enemy. It just brought out the worst side of me. And I just took it out on myself. I've never been one to take things out on other people, but, you know, I love to take things out on myself. So that was the biggest impact, really. But the great thing is, after starting therapy, you know, it's really been for me about repairing that relationship with myself, and also understanding the PTSD as well, like where it comes from, you know, what my triggers are, how to manage those triggers. So I've actually got to a point now, though, you know, it's been 6 years, like emotionally and mentally, I've gotten to such a great place. I'm actually like really grateful for what happened, because I might never have addressed some of my emotional issues and, you know, issues from the past if I hadn't gone to therapy. And honestly, I can say I wake up with such a smile on my face most days, because, you know, I still have bad mental health days, you know. I just know what to do with them, and I don't really judge myself, you know, because I'm my own friend now. You know, I've really learnt to enjoy my own company, and it's just a real blessing and a treat in that way. You know, so much so that I'm actually I'm training to be a therapist now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to do, you know, for someone else what my therapist's been able to do for me. That's what I want to do.
That's great, man. And it's you know, you bring up something that we don't really talk about that often in the community, which is the relationship that you have with yourself. You know, it's always, you know, your interactions with other people, with the outside world, with people that you care about, with perfect strangers, coworkers, everybody. But we don't ever talk about that relationship that we have with ourselves, you know. And that's the thing is, you know, when you look at the various mental illnesses that we all battle, they can be downright insidious when it comes to being down on yourself and being hard on yourself, you know, and belittling yourself, and, you know, getting through all that, you know, thinking you're unworthy of happiness, unworthy of love, unworthy of enjoying life, you know. And, you know, being able to say, you know, stop and say, hey, you know what? No, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of having friends and having a good job and being able to enjoy what this life gives me, and, you know, having a good life. You know, we all have to strive to have a good life in spite of the battles that we face. You know, and it's almost like an FU to our mental illness is when we can have a good day, when we can have a great interaction with family, or have just a peaceful moment for ourselves, and live in the moment. And like we were saying earlier today, it's beautiful out today, and just being able to sit out in that beautiful day and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
So that's great that you were able to cultivate that for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So what made you then decide to start a podcast?
Yeah, it was kind of whilst I was doing the first bit of my training. I'm about halfway through my training now, and I was learning all these things about myself, but also just in general about counselling, therapy, and kind of like strategies, that sort of thing. I was thinking, like, it's just crazy that I kind of got a bit angry. I was like, how is it that this information isn't available? Like, surely people's mental health is like a priority, because, your mind is what guides your body. So, if you've not got that in like a good state of affairs, then that's a bad situation. And I was just kind of thinking, like, I just really want this information to be out and about, and people to have like a resource to be able to find it. And also people not only to kind of listen and to get something from it, but they might know someone who's going through something, and through listening, they're like, oh, okay, I can talk to them about it now, because I'm aware of something I wasn't aware of before. So that's why I started it. I wanted people to have something to look to, and either to help themselves or to help someone that they love.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely.
And I get that too. With you do the studying, and you find out about things, and it's like, why isn't this known?
Yeah.
That's the dumbfounding thing. It's like when you're learning about different things that we have to deal with as adults, you're like, why didn't they teach me this in school? Why didn't adults tell me about this when I was a kid? Just different things. And that's so I've kind of taken that upon myself to tell the youth of that I come in contact with. I tell them stuff like, hey, getting old sucks. Just because you before you know it, you got aches and pains that you didn't realize you had places, and it's frustrating. It's like, oh, I can't do that now. Why can't I do that now? Well, because you're old.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah. Anyway.
So talk to us a little bit about what type of guests you feature on your show.
I've had people from loads of different walks of life. It's really interesting. I've had lots of different therapists on the show. So that's the great thing, because there's many different what we call models of therapy. So I've been lucky enough to encounter people from most models. There's obviously a lot of people who have got specialties there as well. So there's still lots more people that I've got to encounter. But I've had therapists. I had a lady from Australia who she's a carer for her daughter who suffers with mental illness. So she was kind of, going through the sort of day-to-day struggles, and she was, talking about tips for other parents that might have children that are showing some of the warning signs. So that was really great. I think the first podcast I ever did, where I was interviewing someone else, is a guy called Nick Newling, and he's from Australia, and he's amazing because he actually goes around schools and he just talks with kids to talk to them about mental health, and I think some of the work that he does is just incredible. The kind of reach and influence that he's got is amazing. So it's great that he's kind of using that. So yeah, those are the kinds of people, but I wouldn't say I've got a typical guest. It's just kind of someone really that's got a story with mental health and, you know, who can kind of give back to the listeners, really.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, it's good that you're casting a light on these different stories, you know, and that's, you know, we kind of try and do, you know, the same thing. You know, it's you know, the more we bring attention to the good work that people are doing out there, you know, the better equipped we are to overcome the stigma that we run into on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally
So
agree with that.
where can your podcast be found in case anybody's looking to check it out?
Oh yeah, of course. So it's available on Spotify. It's available on Apple Podcasts, and it's called Know Yourself. And it's also, I'm trying to think, it's also available on Google Play Music, I think, as well.
Cool.
And I think it's like pretty much on most providers as well. If you've got any, like, some people listen to like Pocket Casts and stuff like that, so it's usually on those as well.
Sweet.
Okay.
And all the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all the usual suspects. It's got a link as well. It's Anchor. I think it's anchor.fm /Know Yourself.
Cool.
Okay.
How does it go with you with talking with folks from down under? Because I'm only asking because we've tried to get that to work out a couple of times, and the time change is just, it's been too incongruous with us, you know. So I wondered if it's any better.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times when, you know, I'm up at like some crazy hour in the morning, or I'm up really late. So I just kind of have to go with whatever I can. I try and be as flexible with my schedule as I can, but yeah, I just use a lot of kind of time zone calculators on Google, to be honest.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, we're pretty good with it now. With
I'm not. I'll admit that I'm terrible with the time zone thing. I'm terrible.
Well, we downloaded an app called Time Buddy, and it's pretty cool because it'll show our time zone and what time it is in, you know, like what Greenwich time is during our time, and you know.
I can't figure out how to use it. So.
Yeah, but we've got it. So
I just ask him.
Yeah, she asked me.
You know, so and so is here. Help me out.
I'll be at work and I'll get a call. What time is it in London? You know, or what time is it in San Francisco? You know, or whatever. So
yeah.
So tell us about your. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm exactly the same. Like, honestly, trying to figure out these time zones is a bit of a nightmare, especially with Australia. There's like 3 or 4 across the whole of Australia. So.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that would definitely be, because it gets confusing because they're like it's like tomorrow there, you know.
Yeah.
That's really gets confusing, you know. It's like, okay, we're talking to you. It's Saturday. It's Saturday for you. It's Saturday for us. It might be later in the day for you, but it's still Saturday. They're already in Sunday, man. They're in the future. You know. It's just,
what happened?
Yeah. It's like, all right, when did you join Doc Brown and Marty? And you know. So yeah, it's we have yet to get that to work out with the fine folks down there, which sucks because there's a lot of great people down there that we would love to talk to.
New Zealand's another one that we tried and just we blew it. We couldn't coordinate that at all. Yeah,
we blew that terribly.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, you should definitely reach out to Nick Newling. You should get him on the show. He's such a great guy.
Okay. Yeah, we'll track them down.
Yeah. Yeah, you should.
So tell us about your writing. What types of things do you write about?
Yeah, it's funny actually. I'm kind of going through a bit of a process with my writing because I don't have a blog site myself. I've got Medium, and going back to right at the start of the show where you were kind of asking what Medium is.
Yeah.
You know, it's mostly just a platform where you can put your articles, and you know, you've got a site where people can find you if you've not got your own. It's something that I'm looking at in the future. I'm just kind of writing so that I've got pieces that people can read, and you know, there's stuff right away that can help people. But I'm trying to go through a bit of a process at the moment where when you train to be a therapist, one of the traits that you know would look to enhance and you know, kind of really embody is what we call congruence. And congruence is you know, the ability to, you know, say it how it is and be authentic to yourself. And it's very much in the kind of mind's eye for me at the moment. As I'm doing more writing, I'm kind of trying to be more authentic to myself when I write. So I'm finding that my writing is changing. So it's quite an exciting time from that point of view. My kind of style of writing is it's weird. There's this critic that used to write for Rolling Stone called Lester Bangs. And I always really admired him growing up because he kind of wrote his articles. You know, he would go to concerts or he'd watch a film and he'd make it into a story. And, you know, I take elements of that into my writing. I try and, you know, make it humorous and make it into a bit of a story. Or I like using imagery as well. Basically, I like making people see what's in my head in their own head. That's what I get a thrill out of. And obviously helping people with like the mental health strategies and just general life experience. I mean, like the latest blog post I wrote was about like procrastination because I've really struggled with that, especially when I'm writing. You know, it says a lot about your own self-confidence and self-belief when you're struggling to write and, you know, you're encountering procrastination. So I wanted to write about that in itself, you know, to be able to help other people.
I'm gonna have to read that one because I'm really bad with procrastination, as Beck will affirm. Yeah, I almost cracked a joke and say, "Yeah, I'll have to read that later." But yeah, procrastination it kicks my butt almost on a day-to-day basis. I just, you know, why do today what you can put off to tomorrow? You know.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and I think there's I'm not sure about women, but there's certainly, it feels like there's an epidemic amongst men with procrastination. You know, I've seen it quite a lot in the men in my family, and quite a lot of men I know in my personal life. I think, you know, I know that some of my sisters struggle with it as well. So I don't think it is just men, but it's where I've noticed it the most. And I think it's something that needs addressing because I think there's kind of two types of procrastination, and you know, I think both of them have got to do with us as individuals and the way we think and feel about ourselves.
Yeah, I tend to think that it's got to do with you know, it's a form of avoidance. You know, sometimes you're confronted with something that is potentially uncomfortable, and you don't want to have to deal with that discomfort.
Sometimes it's a symptom of depression too, though.
Yeah.
You feel so depressed and so just blah that you have to keep putting things off because.
And then you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, and then you try to get up and do them, and you've got a list 3 miles long, and you can't do any of it. So you end up just going back to bed.
Yeah. So, we're actually getting close to our wrapping up time, which really sucks because we're loving talking to you, Dan.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah. Really quick, where is your social media? Where can people hunt you down and
stalk you?
Yeah.
And stalk you, and you know, if they want to send you a cheeseburger, you know, through Uber Eats or something.
So the main places you can get me is Twitter. On Twitter, my handle is @KnowYourselfPod. So POD. And then I'm on Instagram as well @DUdale92. That's UDALE 92. So you'll find me on there. And then I've got a Medium site as well. You can find me @Daniel James Udale Forrester. I've got a double-barreled surname, so.
Wow.
Yeah. I usually just chop it off these days, to be honest, because it's so difficult to explain to people. So I literally just keep my original surname now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, okay, what does he drive a Subaru? What? I don't understand.
I definitely don't.
So, well, that's cool.
But I'm pretty
so
interactive. Sorry, I cut you off there.
That's
okay.
I'm pretty interactive on Twitter and Instagram. You know, if you've got anything that you want to say, feel free to shoot me a DM or say hey. You know, there's people that, you know, reach out and they want to know stuff. I'm happy to, you know, some people like to know what the different types of therapy are and, you know, how much it costs and stuff like that. Just information. Always happy to talk to people and, yeah, just say hi if you want to.
Cool. That's
right.
awesome.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for being on the show with us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for taking time out of the middle of your day, the beginning of our day, and you know, just hanging with us. And you know, if there's anything new that's coming up down the road for you, you know, either with your writing or with your podcast or, you know, any other events that you're involved in, you know, we would absolutely love to have you back, Dan.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and thanks for, you know, your hospitality and having me on the show. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. We love talking to you.
Well, stay on the line. We will chat with you in just a moment, and we'll see everybody next week.
Yep, we will be exhausted.
We'll be exhausted, but we'll be here, so
yep.
Hang in there.
Yep, and we're going to end the show with the song For You by Brandon Stansel. Have a great weekend, everybody.
When I begin to turn into quicksand, I can't run. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. I push and pull with all my might, but it feels like it's not enough. It's gonna be alright. You make me feel alright. In moments and seasons, we're caught in the deep end, yeah. I need a hand to hold me. Love me like you know me. When it's hard, just breathing. You keep my heart beating. Love looks like falling every day. Till I fell for you. You got me finally feeling emotion. Lost in the moment, don't know where it's going. It's hard just breathing. You keep my heart beating. Love looks like falling every day. Till I fell for you. Used to be bitter, but you made me better now. There's something about your style, like I'm gonna stay a while. No longer searching, feels good to figure out. It's gonna be alright. Come take my hand, let's ride. And moments and seasons, we're caught in the deep end, yeah. I need a hand to hold me. Love me like you know me. When it's hard, just breathing. You keep my heart beating. Love looks like falling for you. You got me finally feeling emotion. Lost in the moment, don't know where it's going. It's hard just breathing. You keep my heart beating. Love looks like falling every day till I fell for you. Feel our feet rising off the ground. We ain't coming down, we're reckless, abandoned. No sign of landing. So high up, yeah, we're touching clouds.